Hey guys and gals, welcome to Xbox On. It's time for Deals of the Week, which means some tasty discounts on games for your Xbox. Today we've got deals on fighting games, RPGs, and some awesome ID Xbox titles, so there's something for everyone. Let's take a look. For a fighting game with 67% off, look no further than Calibur 6. 3D battles take place in a beautiful and fluid world where you'll get 2 weapons and 1 chance to murder your opponent. But there are also a bunch of cool mechanics added to the mix to set this apart from your regular punch-in-the-park fisticuffs. The story mode is set in the 16th century around the events of the first Soul Calibur, serving as a reboot to the franchise as you uncover some hidden truths. It's there for people who don't want to test their mettle against real-life opponents, but if you're ready to take on the world, you can have a go with local multiplayer or online multiplayer in this Xbox One X enhanced murder fest.
There was an attack. The king was found dead.
Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition is doing a run, jump, and a cool spinny thing at you with 50% off this week. It's the latest in a long line of Final Fantasy games featuring a huge open world and real-time combat system. You control heir to the Lucian throne Noctis on his journey alongside his 3 trusty companions, Gladiolus, Ignis, and Promptu. You're journeying across Eos to help save the world from a terrible threat, looming over in the form of the main antagonist, the Emperor of Niflheim. Combat involves, as you'd imagine, some very cool weapons and a bit of magic for good measure, in a very involved and intense combat system that requires a fair bit of practice before you can comfortably call yourself a master. But it is worth every second once you start stringing together combos and looking cool as heck. With a ball-busting 75% off this week, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is one of the bigger deals this week. Develop your own warrior, create a perfect avatar, train to learn new skills, and help fight new enemies to restore the original story of the Dragon Ball series. There's loads of different locations, including notable places from the series and some of your favourite characters as you play a variety of different game modes. You've got the story, training school, and online multiplayer to keep you going, where you can play with up to 300 people in one server. Nothing says fighting game like having loads of people to fight. So dye your hair blonde, scream as loud as you can, whilst you power up and get ready to reach a power level of over 9,000 in this super stylish beat-em-up game.
Monica, please be safe.
Are you ready for more fighting? Because I always am. Always. For a different flavour of fisticuffs, you can find Dead or Alive 6 on sale for 20% off. With 27 playable characters and the option to customise your own character, there's plenty of choice when deciding who you want to control as you fight for your own honour. Fights are based on a triangle system, kind of like rock, paper, scissors, where strike beats throws, throws beats holds, and holds beats strikes. If you successfully counter with the appropriate triangle point when someone attacks you, you'll do a high counter attack and do a shed load of damage to boot. The 6th in the series also introduces a break gauge in case you wanted a bit more drama in your fights, with a special move you can activate with the press of the RB button. It's a fluid and brutal melee-focused game, and it's also Xbox One X enhanced for all you X owners out there.
Father! Stay back, mule.
Next up, we have a tale of revenge with a striking 35% off. It's Shenmue 1 and 2. Let's set it up for you. It's 1986 and teenage jiu-jitsu artist Ryo Hazuki returns to the dojo of his father, only to witness his murder by Lan Di. Now, as you can imagine, this isn't the reunion that our boy Ryo was hoping for. And to make matters even worse, the killer steals a mysterious artifact known as the Dragon Mirror. Understandably, Ryo vows to avenge his father's death and sets out tracing Landy's path. I mean, we've all been there, right? As you scour the world for clues, NPCs live out their own independent lives and go about things as if you weren't there, to make this game feel like a real, living and breathing environment. There's a choice of modern or classic controls and plenty of arcade games, collectibles, and even duck racing to get involved in. Yep, you heard me. So make sure you grab this deal and enjoy the faithful recreation of 1980s Japan and Hong Kong. Oh, and solve that little murder thing too, I guess?
Mr. Merton was very distressed throughout the session. He arrived early, exclaiming that his house had been broken into, but there were no signs of forced entry.
Next up, we have some cool indie games you may or may not have heard of, but will definitely want to try out. I Am Bread is jumping out of the packet with a huge 50% off. This weird and wonderful simulator sees you test your skills in controlling a piece of bread as you traverse across scary, treacherous lands. Who knew jam could prove to be such a challenge? The highly acclaimed Shovel Knight Treasure Trove Edition is 50% off. It's a retro-styled 8-bit platformer featuring 4 whole campaigns, each featuring their own playable characters, unique gameplay, and altered stages. Grab your shovel blade and search for your beloved while upholding the honourable virtues of chivalry. Neon-soaked and synth-wave-infused Hyperjam could be yours with a 25% discount this week. An arena brawler with style and a whole host of explosive weapons, it might just be the game you were looking for. For a bit of horror, you could try the Coma. It's a remastered version of the cult Korean horror classic where you're trapped in the halls of your high school, a nightmare I'm sure most of us can relate to. But with 70% off, this deal's more of a dream. For an artsier game this week, there's The Bridge. It's a mashup of Isaac Newton and MC Escher where gravity bends to your will as you traverse through some mind-boggling architecture. It's also 75% off. That's probably the easiest part though. There's also 75% off Tumblestone, a puzzle game you can play alone or with friends that involves you solving puzzles and apparently helping a sausage make friends. There's plenty more on sale too, so if you're after an adventure game into gaming territory you haven't explored, then check out some of the other indie titles in the store.
Bread does not walk.
So those are all of your Xbox deals this week. If any stand out to you, please let us know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. If you want to see more content from us though, we are over on Mixer 5 times a week on mixer.com/XboxOn, where we live stream a bunch of cool Xbox games. I'll see you at some point. Bye!